Today, we have the top 10 worst contracts in the NFL, at least present day. And if you're brand new, which you are, it is free to subscribe. And the first 1,000 subscribers will be eligible for a free signed jersey giveaway. That's right. We're celebrating at 1,000 subscribers. I'm here with Buck, of course. Welcome to Tailgate Talk. And I think I'm going to start out at number 10, which is sort of hot take-ish. If that's okay with you, Buck.
That is fine with me, man.
Thumbs up.
Go for it.
Give me the go ahead. Now, I want to say this as a preface. I love this guy as an individual, as a talent, absolute presence on the field. He's productive. But I got DK Metcalf because when I look at the contract, I say, well, we got a 5-year deal, $150 million. He had a big signing bonus. I think he had a $30 million signing bonus, $80 million guaranteed, fourth highest paid receiver. So then I would question, is he the fourth best receiver in the league? Because he's not in the same tier with Jamar Chase. He's not in the same tier with the Justin Jeffersons or the CeeDee Lambs. And then you maybe take it down a notch or you start a different conversation. Is he even better than the JSNs or the Pukas or A.J. Brown, Pickens, Amon St. Brown, Drake London, Nico Collins? We can go on and on. The point being, I think for what he's being paid, he might be overpaid, even though I enjoy watching him every single week. How'd I do? Did I balance well, Buck? What do you think?
I think that's good. Where would you put him right now? Would you put him top 15, top 20?
I'd like to see him on a different team because they don't really air it out at the Steelers, which does play a factor here. I'd still have him for sure as a top 20 receiver. And he might compete for a top 15 slot. But if I was doing a tier system, there is that top tier where it's legitimately, I think, 3 players. And then there's a tier 1, and then I'd have him as a tier 2. I don't know if that's unfair, but that's how I'm looking at it or how I'm visualizing this. Is if I had an S tier, an A tier, a B tier, he'd be like a B plus tier, something like that.
That's because you never give anybody an A plus. That's one of the reasons why, too.
I got 3 guys in the S tier, whatever. I made up a new tier.
The grades are hard over here. Kind of rolls into my pick next, man. Also, I think it's fun to say in this video, too, where a lot of the stuff that we were maybe reviewing all of this, it's before the season, and now we're how far into the season? Like 3/4 the way through the season now. Things have changed around drastically is what I would say. My pick is Cole Kmet, dude. Kmet's he's one where once again, I know he's a blocking tight end, but at the same time, if I told you, hey, he's the number 8 highest paid tight end in the league, you'd probably be like, no, there's no way that's true. And I'll go fact check it super quickly.
I didn't know he's that high paid. That's serious. Actually, wait, who's above him or who's below him?
I have the list here.
Give me the list. I need the list, Buck.
We got George Kittle.
You had me ready to Google right here. I was going to say number 8 seems high. And I rate Cole Kmet.
No, well, you'll see some of the stats because once again, it's crazy. But George Kittle's number 1, Trey McBride number 2, Travis Kelce number 3. All those guys are making over $17 million a year. T.J. Hawkinson number 4, Mark Andrews and David Njoku, and then Cole Kmet is what it is. Cole Kmet, fair to say as well, he's making the exact same amount as Jake Ferguson. I personally think Jake Ferguson is a much better tight end. A lot of this that didn't make sense either is the fact that they paid so much for him and then brought Loveland in. And then it's like, now you're kind of the backup to Loveland at this point. So that's my weird number 9 was him.
I don't know if it's weird, but this is also us. We're mixing and matching a little bit. Don't take it too serious. These are names that come to mind that we just don't think maybe are worth what they're currently priced at. Also with tight ends in particular, because we're gotten so accustomed to tight ends that now can block, but are also tremendous receivers, that versatility, that dynamic capability. When you're talking top 10, even top 15 tight ends, that has to be part of the picture, the landscape. It's mandatory that these guys can go for some of them 7 to 10 touchdowns a year consistently, if not more, just depending who we're talking about. I mean, even the breakout players, I still look at Warren this year, threat, danger. I mean, before Kraft got hurt, oh my goodness, we were watching an absolute filthy season that was not coming soon. It had already arrived.
It did arrive, yeah.
Early doors. I could go on and on. I'm a big deep dive on the Titans. Even I know he's getting paid more, but if you think about it, like Trey McBride gets targeted 12, 14 times a game.
He kills me in fantasy every
targeted
week.
Receiver.
Yeah, every week that guy destroys everybody in fantasy is how it goes. But yeah, it's also, we're not trying to make this too quarterback heavy either. Obviously, there's some crazy ones we'll talk about later, I'm sure. But who is your next pick?
Okay, at number 8, I've got Trevor Lawrence.
Okay,
I like to
quarterback.
Talk about it, but I also want everybody to comment who is the most overpaid player or the worst contract maybe on your team, the team that you support, who's got the bad deal? Because especially when you start diving into, I would say some of the O-line or even some of the defensive players, you end up being a backup. You don't really turn over here. Maybe you got a contract from something you used to accomplish or used to do. Either way, I'm going to refocus. You let us know in the comments. Number 8, Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's on a top 5 quarterback contract in the league, Buck. 5 years, $275 million, $200 million guaranteed, huge signing bonus. And even though Jacksonville is good, I believe they're good as a team. They've put together a good squad. They should make it to the playoffs, and maybe they'll even have a run. I'm not so certain on that. But Trevor Lawrence, as a contributor, sure, he's been there, but is he the main reason for their results? I wouldn't go that far. He's got 16 TDs as we're recording, 11 picks, barely an 80 QB rating. Nothing about this screams out top 5.
Yeah.
And if anything, I would talk about the defense. They got a top 10 defense. They force turnovers. They've got a good turnover difference as well, even with their giveaways. I would just credit Jacksonville. They got optionality for the running back slots. They're moving and grooving people in. Etienne's still out there getting busy. If anything, I just think they have a good team. But I don't know it's because of Trevor Lawrence and definitely not because of this contract.
Yeah, I'd even say, even in the last video we did where we tier listed the quarterbacks, the only reason we put him in good enough was due to the fact that the record of the team was it. Or we were considering mid for that. And if you haven't seen that video, it'll probably pop up at the end of this one. No, I don't disagree with that whatsoever. Another weird one I thought was Cooper Kupp, which there's a few people that, aren't too mad about it. He's on $15 million a year, which puts him as the 27th highest paid wide receiver in the league. Only has, as of right now, I believe he has 34 catches, 438 yards, and a TD. So I think most people are saying he was brought into Seattle to kind of like be the veteran to a lot of these young guys that are on the team right now. But they were arguing that it was a little bit too much money.
We also couldn't predict this year with Seattle. No one could have predicted that JSN would be this dominant or that Sammy Darnold's going to be airing it out. Maybe even the success that they've had both defensively and offensively. Maybe Kupp expected and it would have made his numbers look even a little bit better, more targets.
Yeah.
Losing out on targets. But I'm not mad with that take. I'm not mad with that take whatsoever. There's so much about this is kind of subjective. I mean, some of the contracts we're about to get into, actually, we're nearing into the top 5 or 6. I guess technically this is number 6. You need to number yours. Buck, tell us what numbers you're on. So that was number 7.
That was 7 for me. Yeah, that was 7 there.
Okay. So at number 6, I've got Kirk Cousins. I guess I'm just going the QB route, it looks like. I mean, he signed a $180 million contract with a no trade clause at 35 years old. And he was just coming back from that torn Achilles. And to me, on the outside looking in, I like Kirk Cousins. I have no problem with him as a quarterback. It just didn't make sense to guarantee this payment. Clearly, he wasn't going to be long-term top priority with the Falcons. We saw that this year where he was replaced by Michael Penix. And that made him probably the most expensive backup. Actually, I don't want to get a spoiler, but maybe not quite. But he's right there. I mean, he would have been a $45 million per year backup. I mean, I guess technically now he's playing because Penix is out, but it just doesn't seem like good business. It seems like risky business. And that's something when I look at contracts, sometimes I look at managing, is the player going to play? Is it likely that he's going to be healthy? How old is the individual? Are you getting them at a peak? Or are you getting them at a valley or somewhere in between? How much can you predict? I know the NFL's hard to predict, but how much can you predict? And is the player going to make a big enough difference? Because when you're spending money this way, you're going to lose out on signing some top tier or re-signing talent elsewhere, right? So you got to make sure that it's a good signing for the budget that you got to work within. But I got number 6, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, it's also part of it too, where it's like, how willing are you to spend on a safety net if somebody gets hurt as well too, I think is it. And I guess it worked out this year because he will start playing, but I agree. I think the contract was wild. When Penix got drafted, it made absolutely no sense to anybody at all. They're kind of like, what the hell is this guy? What are they doing now?
Well, also it's like the Falcons aren't, I'd say that they're highly unlikely. I think as we're recording, I don't have the percentage of playoff possibility, but they just came off a loss to the Jets. So I think that kind of wraps it up, but you're spending all this money. You also brought in such a good group now for the pressure. Your defensive line is they're making moves, and your main players have been performing, but you're not making the playoffs. It's another wasted spend. It's a wasted spend.
No, that's fair. Another one that they didn't even give him a chance, but unfortunately hasn't really panned out is my number 5 here, which is Dan Moore. $82 million contract for 4 years. $50 million of it was guaranteed. The main argument was that he was never really a star on the Steelers at all. Nobody really knew what justified this price tag for him, except for the Titans just being a little bit desperate during the offseason. A lot of analysts said that it is one of the worst deals that's ever happened in the offseason in the NFL. He hasn't panned out to really anything this year either.
Shout out to his agent.
Yeah, seriously.
He put together some fat pocketbooks. Well, it's also, you're not dealing with Pro Bowler talent. I guess that's got to be something that you look into when you're spending the big bucks. And I guess this sort of transitions nicely, or maybe not as much if you're a Tennessee fan. But at number 4, I have Sneed. I mean, last year, he played 5 games. This year, he made it to mid-October. I mean, he's on a 4-year, $76 million contract, 51 of that guaranteed. If you wanted to look at PFF, it's not going to look good. I don't know if I got that right, but it's not going to be a good look.
I know what you mean.
Quarters. Yeah, I'm doing my best here. This has a lot of room for me to misspeak, okay? So work with me. I know he's had injuries, but again, that comes back to what I'm talking about with you kind of trying to build a team around you think you're going to have foundational players or that they're good enough to take that risk on. And if you're an organization like the Titans that you've kind of known you're rebuilding, that's not new information. I don't think the Titans thought they were going to be good last year or the year before that. They've kind of been in a little bit of a stage where they're saying, okay, we got to reevaluate some things. It's not where I would spend the money. I'm not a GM, but it's just not where I would spend the money. And I've got Sneed at number 4.
Okay. No, that's fair. My number 3 I have is Calvin Ridley. One of those guys, again, where there was the fear that they overpaid way too much.
We're just trashing the Titans here. I'm okay with this.
I mean,
I'm on board. I didn't know that going into this.
I had no idea.
Buck and I talk, but we're trying to leave enough separation. So I'm all day ready to put down the Titans. I want to be clear on that.
Yeah.
As a Houston Texans guy, the Oilers moved there. They took the color scheme. I'm all with that. So if you got more, Buck, if you got more Titans players, just run them up.
This might be the last one here. $92 million contract for 4 years. $50 million of it was guaranteed as well. Only played 7 games this season, had 17 receptions and 303 yards and 0 touchdowns. I know you're not the hugest fan of Cam Ward, but that's who was throwing him the ball. It's one of those as well. You kind of make the same argument with Kupp in this too, where Kupp didn't necessarily know, I guess, how much receptions or how many targets he was going to get this year. When you have a brand new quarterback that's struggling, I think obviously every wide receiver is going to end up struggling as well too. He's got some off the field issues as well that has affected his availability. I have him there. It put him in a top 8 quarterback or a top 8 wide receiver as well too at the time, and it's not necessarily panned out.
And I just want to say on record, I'm not anti-Cam Ward. I think that he's shown potential, but that does not mean that he's not going to be in the lowest tier that we currently have available.
It was a quick trash comment last time. Yeah,
I'm just saying. I'm not changing that. I'm standing by that. He just has shown at least that there is potential here. It's not that he can't develop into an actual impactful quarterback. Sometimes when you watch QBs play like Gabriel Dillon, and I'm like, I don't see it. I just don't see it. Again, I'm not the perfect guy for analyst here, but I don't see the future at this organization with this guy leading the team and having a chance to win games, even with some of the other parts. That's also something we should mention. I could have made this video, or we could have made this video on all QBs if we really wanted to.
Yeah.
Because QBs get the big money deals, and a lot of those guys don't end up aging the way that you thought they were going to. They had a bad injury, or the young guy didn't actually have that follow-up season that you thought he was going to have, which I guess that would lead in kind of smoothly to my number 2. He has to be here. You knew it was coming, but Tua. I mean, 4 years, $212 million, $168 million guaranteed. And even after 2023, this contract seems risky. And I know that he threw for 4,500 yards and this, that, whatever. I'm going to repeat myself. I'll be the broken record. But I look at it when you're spending this type of money. This is the reality of these contracts. You got to have a player that, 1, healthy, 2, able to get you not just to the playoffs, but playoff victories, real runs, true franchise level of player. And I never really felt that way. Really is a stretch. I never felt that way about Tua. And I'm not the only one. I'm not on a new wave of sending negativity or hate mail. Even in that 2023 season, he threw a bunch of picks as well. He just offensively was going kind of crazy. We had the concussions, and I guess that's part of the NFL. I mean, these QBs get drilled constantly. And ironically, and I could eat some words here because Miami hasn't been good for most of this year. but I can see a run happening late. They started picking up a little bit of steam. I could see a run happening late. And Achan's been a baller. I don't know if it's because of Tua. Tua still has weeks where I say I don't know what he's seeing on the field. I watch back time, and you can probably feel my frustration. He's missing drop downs and screen passes and stuff that I don't know if I could throw it, but I think I could. I probably couldn't, but those are the types of misses you can't have at this price point.
When you see the misses,
one of the most premium contracts, but
yeah, it's when you see the misses on TV. It's the I could have effing thrown that. Basically, is what it is. What I have noticed about you, and I don't know if you've noticed in these videos too, is that when you aren't like a huge fan of somebody, you give them a nickname, or you just like you said Gabriel Dillon there, and I know it's because you hate Dylan Gabriel is the reason why. Tua. I've noticed this trend with you.
You get a little added something.
No, there is always something for somebody.
I'm making them dodgy,
yeah,
bro.
I'm
making them dodgy. Like, I'm not a fan of the Dillons and the Gabriels. Got
exactly,
Beyonce posting about like results and stuff, though the Browns still lost. I don't know if you saw this on TikTok. I'm like, yo, hey, can we just throw this out here? I don't think we have any women viewers, but if you're dating a professional athlete, don't get in the locker room with anything.
Yeah.
Just like, no, don't do that. I wouldn't go to your job and interrupt your job. Don't come to the job, because that's going to make it awkward for the guys when they go back to the locker room and they have to deal with, hey, did you see this happen here? Or this other distraction. We had a lot happen with Mahomes on that.
Yeah.
I remember with his, it was his brother.
His brother had a lot of issues.
And his wife. And it was like, yo, this guy is playing through a lot of distractions right now. Shout out to Mahomes. And I'm far from a Kansas City supporter. But nobody needs all that.
No, nobody does.
Just keep it moving. But apparently nicknames means not going to be going in the
That's
right
what I've learned about you. Last one might be a boring one. You probably expect this one, but it's also something that nobody really wanted or needed. Deshaun Watson. Is there much else to really say? 5-year contract, $230 million, fully guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed.
Yeah, arguably the worst NFL contract in the history of the entire damn thing. So I don't know if there's much else to say.
Buck, I just imagine Watson is sitting in a penthouse in Cleveland, like not going outside. You know, that's like that's what I have envisioned. I have envisioned that he has been like, I got all my money up front. I haven't had a good season with the Browns. I'm a Texans guy. He played well for the Texans, but that move also, it was 3 first-round draft picks that we got. So they had to give up. I'm just adding to this.
Yeah.
They had to give up 3 first-round draft choices, and they didn't get even a fraction of the player when he was playing in Houston. And now he's technically, well, I guess they activated him now, but I think he was 3rd string before that somehow.
With how much those quarterbacks have shifted around, dude, who knows at this point, honestly. We'll see. All right. Well, I am sure there are a lot we've missed out on. Like Mike said earlier, if you guys want to go ahead and list off the worst contract on your team, the guy that you're the most pissed off about, please put it in the comments. We tried to throw some ones in there that hopefully you guys hadn't heard of as well. If you made it to the end of the video, leave a like, subscribe if you'd like to win a signed jersey. Mike, who would your signed jersey be?
Ooh, I don't. You know what I would take? I could probably get access to this. I would take a JJ Watt in a heartbeat. That made me very happy. But I was thinking even maybe throwback players. You know, you get some of the ageless wonders, if you will, or guys kind of grew up on. This is gonna be a crazy take, but I've never been a Steelers guy. But I would love to have like a Jerome Bettis just busting it. You know, just like, why not, bro? The guy was a different type of running back, just like pushing, shoving, moving. You know, I'm just thinking out loud here. You put me on the spot. I've had the chance, and so have you, to meet Ocho Cinco. He's such a nice guy that I would love an autographed, Ocho Cinco joint. You
can just DM him for that, honestly.
I might be able to message him but I'm just saying, like, it would be dope to me. It would be dope to me.
It would be sick. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.